I'm a huge proponent of keeping dishes simple. Not only are they easy to make, but if you season the food right, cook everything to the correct consistency and temperature, a simple dish really rivals many complex recipes, no question about it. And today that's what we have with this pan-seared chicken and sweet potato recipe, so let's jump into how to make it. The first thing we'll start with today is our sweet potatoes, for which I'm using roughly 14 to 1500 grams today, which is about 4 large sweet potatoes. You can see I went ahead and peeled them and then washed them afterwards, and if you want, you can leave the skin on, but I tend to prefer the sweet potatoes without the skin. Yeah, nutrients in the skin, whatever. Look, sometimes I just don't want it, alright? I'm trying to eat better on average, not force myself to eat every little thing for a marginal benefit, you know? So anyways, cut these up into bite-sized pieces or however you want to prep them. And once you have them cut up, we'll transfer them over to a sheet tray here, which I'll lightly hit with some oil first. And then we'll slide all of our sweet potatoes onto the tray here. We'll give the potatoes another coating of oil over the top, and then we'll season as follows. 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 to 2 teaspoons of black pepper, and then 1 to 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Now let's go ahead and mix our potatoes up, make sure all that seasoning covers all of the potatoes, and once we're there, we'll transfer this over to our 450-degree Fahrenheit oven for about, 40-ish minutes or so. Just keep an eye on them, and once they reach your desired softness, then you can take them out. It's going to be roughly 30 to 40 minutes. Alright, now it's protein time. I'm using 850 grams of chicken breast today, for which, again, you can see I flattened them out. And by the way, I just used my hands for this. You don't have to pound it out like you're trying to kill it. So we'll hit the chicken with some oil, and then we'll season as follows. 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 2 teaspoons of ancho chili powder, and then 1 teaspoon of cumin. And you can arrange those how you want. And then we'll season the other side as well. And that seasoning quantity is for all of the chicken, not just one side. So split it in half for both sides of the chicken here. Then we'll add in a squeeze of fresh lemon over the top. Then finally, 3 cloves of minced garlic, or you can just use garlic powder. I was actually running a little experiment. Now let the chicken marinate for however long you have, but once you're ready to cook, we'll get an oiled skillet set on medium-high heat, and then go ahead and lay the chicken in. And I prefer to use a cast iron for today's recipe because I get a better, almost cleaner sear when I use paprika and chili powder, but perhaps that's just me in my head, I don't know. But the job's simple, just let the chicken cook on both sides until they each develop some color and the chicken reaches 165 degrees internally, and that's pretty much it. Alright, once all of our chicken's cooked, I'm going to put everything on a cutting board here and just let it rest for about, 10 minutes or so, just to cool down. Or you can cut it up immediately if you want to roast your hands, but I personally am going to pass on that opportunity, so we'll let it rest. Once the chicken has rested for however long you have, we can go ahead and cut it up, and nothing new here. You guys know how I like to do this. I'm going to slice the chicken into strips, and then I'm going to go ahead and organize it into about 5 different servings here to help prepping later. But of course, cut up however you want. You guys definitely know the drill. It's totally up to you. But once you're there, we can go ahead and prep. Obviously, it's a pretty easy process here for the prepping. I'm going to put sweet potatoes in on one side and then the seared chicken in on the other. I think we can all handle that. I was just going to mention, though, that one thing that might be really good with this, if you want a sauce, and I know good chicken breast doesn't need a sauce, whatever, but if you want one, that garlic lemon sauce we made it for the Mediterranean chicken bowls a couple weeks ago would be pretty solid with this dish. So you can go reference that video if you want, and you can actually use the same quantities we have listed for that recipe. It'll slightly increase your macros than what we listed at the beginning of the video here, but not materially. So anyways, that's the recipe. Simple, easy to make. You don't have to clean many dishes. You save money, and best of all, your lunches taste amazing. Here's the usual macro and ingredient overview for the recipe. We'll have this all posted everywhere. And like I mentioned, if you use the sauce, it'll increase your macros a little bit, but not by much. So feel free to use it. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the recipe. We'll be back with more, so stay tuned.